Hi, and welcome to Tim and Joel's Weekly Draw. Joel, are you ready to kick it into high gear? You ready to rev them engines? You ready to leave some rubber on the asphalt? You ready to get your motor running? Get out on the highway tonight at Fastlane? Hit the nitrous? Shift it into full gear?
No, that was last one.
Oh, that's also a different company.
That's a different company. That was a while ago.
Machines are cool, man.
I mean, listen, I've got my cock up. I'm ready to go.
Good.
And everyone is excited for Fastlane. Am I right?
I wouldn't go that far.
You can get excited for us, right?
You should get excited for us. And like, there are some legitimately good matches on this card. I think that some people are not really giving it the right kind of hype that it deserves. There are some good moments going to happen.
So there's a story, before we get into this whole thing, there's a story that I like to tell. And it's actually taken from the We Watch Wrestling podcast. And one of their guys, Matt McCarthy, used to write for WWE. And he tells a story of years ago, whenever he was working there. They were in the back after a pay-per-view, and they're kind of doing their post-mortem, and it's the production team and the writers, and Billy Kidman is part of those writers and production members. And so they're all kind of standing around and talking about the show, and they, how'd it go? Got a hair in my mouth. And Billy Kidman says, felt like a Raw. That's what I'm expecting tonight.
Yeah.
And that's fine. It's going to be a 3-hour show with matches. They're going to be some pretty good matches, and there's going to be some not so great matches. This is a test run. At the end of the day, for Peacock, this is a test run. So let's get into it. Totally. Start with the plugs. The only test run you need is every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern over at timandjoelpod.com. We talk about the week in wrestling. We wrap it up. Tim and I do this whole bantering, yada, yada, comedy, fun stuff that you like to see. So go ahead. While you're at it, you can like this video. You can drop us a comment with your predictions for WWE Fastlane. Subscribe to the channel, tap the bell notifications, and do it with us as well over at youtube.com/TimandJoelPod. Shall we get into our predictions and our card rundown for Fastlane, Tim?
Hell yeah.
Let's do it. We start off revving our engines with Shinsuke Nakamura and Seth Rollins in a match that will absolutely be fun and will absolutely be a really good time.
Totally. Like, this is the type of thing where, like, seeing this live would be excellent. I don't care. The story run-up is pretty thin on it, but that's fine. Like, the match itself, both these guys are so talented that, like, I'm just excited to watch them wrestle. So, when I'm actually excited about the in-ring content, we're doing good. So you've done good. Good job. This is good. And then it's going to be Cesaro and Seth Rollins at Mania, I think, and that will be also very good.
I think my favorite thing on Friday was having Seth Rollins come out and essentially say, there's a whole locker room full of wasted potential. And then Shinsuke walks out and he's the poster child for wasted potential in WWE.
Yeah.
Followed by Cesaro. Listen, yes, like you said, Cesaro and Rollins are absolutely where we've got to be going. A Shinsuke victory could put him in, say, Intercontinental Championship title contention.
Do you think that's what's going to happen, though?
Anything's possible. Anything can happen, right? You can have Cesaro come out and do a distraction finish.
It could.
Shinsuke gets the roll up, and then we're all going to be happy again because roll ups in WWE are more prosperous than gold.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a fair point. Very likely.
So with that, I ask you, could it be that? Or would Shinsuke maybe embrace the vision?
I don't know about that. What I will say is that I think Seth is going to go over Shinsuke clean.
Okay, that's a fair assessment. It's not my favorite, but I get it and I understand why. Part of me has a feeling that maybe Rollins can be surfed and turfed by Nakamura tonight.
Yeah.
Let's move on. The United States Championship on the line. They announced this match after SmackDown, which was hilarious in a very news dump style where it's to the point where no one's paying attention. It's Riddle's second defense, by the way. His first defense of the U.S. title was on Monday against, you guessed it, Mustafa Ali.
The same guy.
Mustafa, listen, he should be the face of America. He's diversity. He's classy. He's just the best. That's all I got.
Did you see that Chuck Lorre's trending? Did you see that?
I did not, and I don't. Do I want to know why?
Let's just say that even if Mustafa was the face of America, I don't think it would be very good. I think
Now I
he's
think I have to
far
look
too
this up.
talented. Yeah. Chuck Lorre's got this god awful looking show called United States of Al. Anyway, watch
Oh,
the
no,
trailer.
I
Watch
see
the trailer.
this.
It is god awful, like criminally bad. Anyway,
Oh, no. Well, Chuck Lorre's awful. Anyway,
hopefully Mustafa Ali destroys Riddle, because I feel like Riddle, being the bro he is like the exact demographic of Chuck Lorre fans. So
oh yeah, 2.5 bros, absolutely.
yeah. So
Meanwhile,
please,
we've got Retribution. We got to
Yeah.
deal with Retribution. We got to turn them into monsters. We got to fracture them. We got to do something. Give them a new character. By the time this video is out, there's already news that it's been discussed, so I'm not spoiling anything. But you know, it's worth looking into the future of Retribution. So this match, I don't really care where it goes. I would love to see Mustafa Ali walk out with the United States Championship.
Same.
I have low expectations on that being the case, though. Do you have any predictions for that?
Yeah, so like obviously the good move here, if you want to keep Retribution a thing at all, Ali needs to win this tonight, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think Riddle's going to retain. Retribution fractures around it, and then hopefully we can be a wash of all of this. And Mustafa can stay a heel or do whatever. I just hope he doesn't fall into the background. And now you have 4 other people who are all also very talented that we need to find a place for. So I don't know.
You bring up good points. We're going
It's
to find out.
Yeah, it's a
hours.
challenging situation.
Absolutely. Well, here's a challenging situation. It's a match that's not on the official preview, but for some reason was still mentioned in the card rundown on SmackDown. And that is Braun Strowman versus Shane McMahon.
Will they?
Will they or
Won't
won't they? Listen, this is going to be a fun WrestleMania match. Why are we going to try and do it here? What is this going to accomplish?
Let's just get all of the wrestlers in the back to stand around them, chanting "Fight! Fight! Fight!" and have a little schoolyard bully match at WrestleMania. That's how we're going to escalate this.
Fastlane Underground.
Yeah, they do this tonight. Yeah, exactly.
You know what? No, you know what? You do it in the underground style, but they do it inside of a pool of green slime.
Okay, so mud wrestling.
They did it. You know what? The McMahons did it to the women for so long. It's time to turn the tables.
It's only fair.
I think it's very
I
fair.
would
Well,
be much more excited for that. I wish it was anyone other than Shane.
I wish it was anyone other than Braun. But here we are.
He's a big log of pepperoni.
That's one way to put it.
That's what
I feel like Shane would just the green slime would just sweat off of him. It just wouldn't, it would be like Teflon. It would just be gone by the time
Yeah,
it even hits his
yeah.
skin.
he is a well lubricated fella.
Speaking of well lubricated, we have the Intercontinental Championship on the line for Big E taking on Apollo Crews in a match that, I mean, there has to be branded golf carts on it, right? After
Look,
SmackDown?
man, that's just good business sense is what that is. And if you need a golf cart to get around a very large arena, why not also advertise your own personal brand?
I mean, I wouldn't mind my own branded golf cart. Don't know what I would do with it, but if I can get one with our logo, with our Tim and Joel Pod logo, I would drive around in that all the time.
That'd be fun. You could trip
That's right.
people on your way. It'd be funny.
Meanwhile, I'm actually a big fan of this Apollo Crews and this new character of his.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a return to return to fame from his Uha Nation days. Uha Nations, I should say. Listen, it's new life. It's a new demeanor for Apollo, and I love it. It's a tribute to his family's heritage. I'm all for it. And for those who don't understand it yet, maybe it's just not something you have a lot of experience with. I don't, but I'm reading about it and I'm understanding it more and more, and I love what I'm seeing.
It's good. That segment might have been the only part of SmackDown on Friday that I was really enjoying. So I think that this match is going to be good. It'll probably still lead us to the two of them at WrestleMania, I think, but I don't know.
I think it'll be the 6-man ladder match. Will be at WrestleMania for that. It'll be those two. It'll be KO and Zayn, and then Nakamura and whoever the 6 is going to be.
You don't think that KO and Zayn on its own has enough weight to be like a Mania match? I know
So
that we're trying to get everyone on the card, but they also have 2 nights now, right?
that's kind of where my brain is. It's of both minds. Yes, you can do KO and Zayn as a grudge match, but like you've got less than a month to build it, and you can go back. These are the 2 that you can do it with because there is so much history. But it's been like it's a slog to get there with this little time.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, they have the weight, like the cultural weight of the QAnon thing that they're feeding into the Sami Zayn feud, and having KO is like the friend who's trying to pull them out of it. I don't know. That's a good story. That's a very good story, and I don't think you need more than a month to tell it.
I would rather get to the one-on-one match down the line and instead have them included in the ladder match, have them beat each other up so bad that neither of them win, and they just keep telling the story.
Yeah,
I think
fair.
there's a build in there while still doing that ladder match.
Totally.
Speaking of the Intercontinental Champion, we have Big E, who is showing a lot of range with this particular story with Apollo Crews, and I'm expecting him to be big mad tonight.
Yeah. It's going to be really good.
For Big E, it's his 6th defense. He won the title on Christmas Day SmackDown, so another good match ahead.
How many of those defenses were against Apollo anyway?
I think 3 of them.
I think literally half.
Oh, whatever. Here are 2 guys that are very much accustomed to each other by now. No holds barred. Drew McIntyre taking on Sheamus. This match, it should have been a number 1 contendership match for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania. But here's the problem with that. Tickets for WrestleMania went on sale last week. So not having, and this is the mind of Vince McMahon, not having your top title matches announced before you put tickets on sale doesn't really make much sense.
That does make sense. That's smart.
So there's still room to have Sheamus get himself involved somehow. This is a no holds barred match, and these 2 men have been taking on, and they've been putting each other through the paces. They've been having very good, very hard hitting matches, and I'm expecting it again, but this time potentially with an actual finish since it's no holds barred.
Yeah, absolutely.
At the same time, Drew being number 1 contender means he cannot take a loss. But if Sheamus, if he wants in on that WWE Championship match, a victory would go a long way.
Like this is one of the, man, there's quite a few matches on this card that are very exciting, and this is one of them. Like Drew and Sheamus have such good chemistry together that they're just going to beat the holy hell out of each other, and it's going to be great.
Oh yeah. And with Bobby Lashley not announced for the show, he could still get involved because again, this match is no holds barred tonight.
Yep, totally.
We'll see if they play into it or if they just have a 1 hard-hitting match that gets Drew 1 step closer to his match at WrestleMania. On the road to WrestleMania, we've been seeing a lot of bumps and a lot of bruises, and here comes more of a bruise than a bump. The WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. We have Shania Payne taking on Sasha Banks and Bianca Belair. This match, again. Reginald, again. We had a hot Rumble win for Bianca Belair. We have a hot match like Sasha and Bianca for WrestleMania. It's been doused with water by this storyline. This isn't a fast lane. This is a very slog of a. This is like a car crash, a rubbernecking car crash, Tim.
Yeah, it's a bit weird, and it kind of sucks because like looking at Bianca, I was watching SmackDown like the last half of it just before this, and like Bianca Belair came out, and her entrance, like she feels like a superstar already. Like she is very good at this, and like I am very, very excited for her and Sasha's match at WrestleMania, but like this is a weird pit stop for no reason to me other than to tell a story that is way too old in wrestling to be continuing to tell, and I don't think they're gonna coexist. Or like the one thing I do appreciate that they did plant in this was last week on SmackDown, they mentioned like the 2 champions, and I think it was Shawn Michaels and who was it? John Cena or something stupid.
Yeah, it's exactly what that was.
Yeah. So like putting that in your head and mentioning it, that it's like, oh, this has happened before, is like at least giving me a little bit of doubt about the results of tonight, because that could be what they do. I think that's a weird choice, because like whenever you do that, you're making it more difficult for yourself to book WrestleMania, because now the tag championship match is off the table, right? So I don't know. I don't see it happening, but I at least appreciate them putting that in there as a possibility, a real possibility.
So I agree with you. The can they coexist trope is absolutely dumb. We don't need it. This is the one thing that they've done interestingly well in the storyline. They did it last month with Sasha and Bianca, with Can They Coexist?
Yeah.
But now they've turned it over. They were friendly on SmackDown after both of them. Did they both get their victories on SmackDown? I know Sasha did. I can't remember if Bianca
No,
did.
the Bianca one ended in DQ with Tamina and Natalia.
Oh,
yeah.
right. That's why I didn't remember. And I love Tamina. Anyway.
Yeah, she had a good look too. They
yeah.
refreshed them a bit, so it's looking exciting going into Mania for them.
I mean, I'm looking for a triple threat tag team match out of that. We'll get there in a second. But yeah, now it's Shania Payne's turn to get weird and get the Can They Coexist after Shayna kicked Nia in the face on Friday night.
Yeah.
So we'll see. And like you said, the women's tag team championships needs to be on WrestleMania as well. I was just saying, I think it's going to be a triple threat. It'll be the champions and then representatives from Raw and representatives from SmackDown. Natty and Tamina being the representatives from SmackDown, and from Raw, Lana and Naomi.
Yeah.
So that we can get Lana getting the pin on Nia and getting her just desserts.
And for a while I've been saying every time you brought that up that there's room for others, but it's pretty clear the direction they're going right now. The people who are getting featured are Lana and Naomi, and they have put a lot of work into Natalia and Tamina as of late, so that is very telling. So
Shania Payne have continued their dominance in the women's tag team division. I'm a fan of it. And for Shania Payne, this is their fourth defense of the women's tag team titles. They won them on the Royal Rumble 2021 kickoff show. Let's move along to a match that might not even be a match again. Randy Orton and Alexa Bliss. And yes, we know, but it might be hilarious.
I don't know what this is going to be, and I'm very excited for it.
Here are my notes. Alexa giving Randy an RKO. Alexa doing a draping DDT. Alexa using another fireball. Alexa hitting the Razor's Edge. Alexa hitting the Twisted Bliss. Alexa hitting the Sister Abigail. Randy taking all of the moves because WWE doesn't allow the men to hit the women unless it's Randy Orton. Randy Orton is literally the only male superstar who is allowed to interact with the women physically. And that's actually a testament to the trust that everyone has in Randy Orton's ability to keep everyone
very
safe.
Yes. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe she gets some Sith magic and some lightning bolts, and she's like, "Come to the dark side, Randy." And then it's Randy Orton and the Fiend as a tag team. Big,
I like it.
Build the tag division a little more.
Randy Orton and the Fiend cross over to SmackDown, and they defeat the Dirty Dogs.
Yeah. Beautiful.
There it is. Alexa Bliss with superpowers is another thing I had written down. I'm glad that you went there.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I have zero clue. I don't know where they're going with this, at all, other than Randy and the Fiend at WrestleMania. Take me there. I'm excited.
And that's the thing. Nobody really knows what's going to happen in this whole interaction tonight, and that's kind of the best part of it.
It's awesome.
I'm expecting it to be a pre-tape segment, and it's going to be potentially filled with cinematic magic, and that's fine. That's the whole point of this thing.
Into it.
And I don't want to say bring back the Fiend because they've been saying it since 2 weeks after TLC.
No, I don't think they need to. I don't think they need to yet. I don't care. Do you take me? You know what you're doing, writers, I assume. So you take me there. I trust this for some reason.
The smartest thing that happened when Bray Wyatt came back the first time and we introduced the Fiend was that we didn't actually see the Fiend until when? Was that SummerSlam 2019?
Yeah, it was SummerSlam with the first entrance that was so fire.
Right. And we need that stuff. That's what really I'm looking forward to. I don't want to see any official Fiend reintroductions until we get to Mania and there is a live crowd and there is a pomp and circumstance and there's a long walkway for him to show whatever this new look is going to be.
100%. And I talk a lot about how difficult it is to book supernatural characters in wrestling, but that it's kind of a staple. What you do is you don't let them be visible or wrestle very often. It has to be a spectacle with big budget and big effort put behind it to make it work. So,
well, we got to make this one work. For the Universal Championship, our main event is Roman Reigns defending against Daniel Bryan. Edge will be the special guest enforcer outside the ring, not in the ring, unless he decides to get himself a little bit more involved in the match. And again, Roman Reigns finds himself in another gimmick match defense.
Yep. Non-stop.
I mean, as gimmicky as a special guest enforcer can be compared to Hell in a Cell or Last Man Standing or what other, there's a cage match, whatever there's been. listen, Roman said he'd sooner die than
Die.
tap out.
And Brian's like, well, I don't want you to die, but I'm going to make you tap out.
What's the over under on Roman low blowing, Brian?
Almost a certainty. Like there's going to be some dirty doggery tonight.
Oh, the dirty dogs, they come out.
The top dogs, the dirty dogs, because they can't even get that right.
That's right. Just make a whole bunch of Oral Roberts jokes.
Oh my
meanwhile,
God.
Edge, well, it was funny because of Dawkins being an Oral Roberts. Anyway,
I know. I don't understand how America's weird. I don't understand how Oral Roberts' name is associated with a university, but whatever.
I'm here for Oral Roberts versus Moorhead in the finals. Edge interferes, gets Brian DQ'd, or maybe costs him the match. Do you think we're on the way to a triple threat at WrestleMania for these three men?
Yeah, I think what we talked about on Thursday is basically how this is going to go down.
Or put Brian in that ladder match that we talked about, and he's the sixth man. And again, he doesn't win.
I think maybe we see an Edge heel turn tonight. Like I really do. Just because it is a gamble to go into WrestleMania. Is Edge still like the guy for a live audience? And like the amount of like yesing to the screens that they've been doing feels like, oh yeah, they need that. And you know what? That's like the only thing I've seen people actually like pop for through the Thunderdome is the yes chant. You see a lot of people doing this still.
That's because the producers ask you to do it.
Yeah. Which I said from the beginning they need people to do, but people actually do it. Like
I get it. I mean, it's a hand thing. Everyone likes doing this. Come on,
it's easy, and it translates to that, which gives a little bit more momentum. And again, Daniel Bryan's so bloody over, like it's a sure thing at WrestleMania.
So, is it a Yeselmania moment again, or do we fall short?
I can see
Bryan
him
does not win.
Yeah, I can see him getting in there as a triple threat, but I don't see him winning.
Okay. I mean, I can see Edge and Bryan in a singles match that in the future would be excellent to see live or whatever it would be.
Totally.
I'm a big fan of that.
That sounds like a Backlash or whatever the next pay-per-view is nowadays.
I don't know what it'll be, but it
still
probably
do
is
Backlash. Yeah.
They do Backlash. They do Payback. Remember, Backlash was the greatest wrestling match ever.
Yeah, exactly. So I could see Edge versus Daniel Bryan being that, right?
In the greatest wrestling match ever, too.
Exactly. You got it.
That's right.
And then Edge destroy his arm again.
Oh, no. For Roman Reigns, who, by the way, is just not being talked about right now. This is his 7th defense of the Universal Championship since winning at Payback back in 2020. My God. Tim, this is actually going to be a fun show. We just talked it through, and I think we kind of enjoyed it.
I'm excited, honestly. I think this is a really good pay-per-view going into WrestleMania, I think. Like there's the only matches that I'm just like about are Riddle and Mustafa and the women's tag.
Yeah. And you know what? At the end of the day, felt like a Raw.
Yeah, go in with low expectations. You'll be pleasantly surprised, I'm sure.
Kickoff show starts at 6 p.m. Eastern. It's live on both the WWE Network and on Peacock. This is it. The first Peacock show. The first WWE Cock event you can watch.
Jeez,
it starts at 7 p.m. Eastern. You're welcome. Head on over. We'll see you there tonight. It's going to be a fun show. And also check out timandjoelpod.com where you can watch us every single week, 8 p.m. Eastern, talk about the week in wrestling. And while you're at it here, leave us a comment, like the video, and tap the bell. Notifications, get it. Come on. Tim, in the meantime, where can the kids find you on the internet?
Kids can find me at TimStoneP, TimbStonep on Twitter.
Go shoot Tim a follow right now. He is fun to talk to on the internet. And I am at Joel Pearl, JoelPearl. Ladies, gentlemen, friends beyond the binary, enjoy Fastlane, enjoy the road to WrestleMania. We'll see you next week.